board of NHS Soldex meeting in January. And it goes on to say there's a requirement to clarify GP commissioner support for this case prior to seeking approval at the board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write to every GP because I want them to confirm, at least to the primary care trust, that they support it, because otherwise that's another thing that goes by the board. And then they've got to look at costs from Central Manchester and Salford Royal for the operation of the service, to look at value for money. So January, hopefully, we'll get a decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if in January they don't then say we need to look further at costs or something like that. So I think between now and January, I mean, obviously there's the Wednesday meeting for the Strategic Health Authority, and they need to be very clear that people of Salford are not happy about whatever decisions they've got to make on Wednesday. But after that, between now and January, I think there's a need again to put real pressure on to say that at the very least we want the midwife-led unit, which is supposed to take between 600 or so births, but Heather's been telling me there might be some issues around that. So there's more work to be done around the midwife-led unit as well. And I know the midwives are very unhappy, are being split up between Central Manchester, Bolton, and the clinical governance of the service. So we're not out of the woods at all, are we?
I don't think they'll approve that. I think it'll be another easy cost saving, and while they've been trying to look at the model, they've realised that there's a lot of problems with what they're proposing, that it's going to be very difficult to make it work because it's going to be owned by St Mary's. It's just going to be treated as a satellite unit, as an overflow, if you like. So I don't.
We know from the situation in Bolton, for example, the birth centre's closed, quite more often than not now because of the shortage of staff. So that unless they're autonomous, they start.
They just don't have the same ethos or the same background as the birth centre in Salford, because the birth centre in Salford was originally GP, and it's been functioning since 1966 when it was open. So there was always a great sense of, even when there's not enough staff for the central delivery unit, the birth centre was a separate unit, and the staff on the birth centre weren't, in most cases, I'm not saying every case, but in most cases, we would have closed the birth centre to staff CDU because the two separate functioning things in close proximity that gave the safest level of care. It took a lot of effort.
I don't know what people think, and maybe we should have a discussion about whether, I think the more I think about it, the more we should sort of be unequivocal that it's all or nothing in a way. If we have a fallback position, okay, but I really don't think, it isn't enough to have 300 healthy babies born in Salford. I mean, what does that mean? It will close. It will, in the current climate, I can't see it surviving. And I think that the GPs should still, rather than lobbying the GPs, and I can appreciate the effort, but lobbying the GPs to say support a midwife-led unit, we should be saying why people
stepped up to the plate.
To actually take them back to that and say this is what Salford people want. It's all this rhetoric about listening to people. The people haven't said they want a midwife-led unit actually. I mean, they love it and appreciate it. It's 700, but it won't be 700.
But it's because it's
it's where it is. I think it's probably, I don't know what people think, I think it's probably a mistake to encourage the GPs to even think that's a viable possibility, especially with what Lisa said. Lisa's been very involved in the discussions about the NLU, haven't you? And you know it. And if they're now worrying about the cost, then it just goes back to the original outcome. Put the money in the unit now and save it from this,
I think they might use it as a convenient tactic to say, right, we're going to close this, but we'll give you that, and then actually do a bit of a U-turn on that. Maybe they'll keep it going for a while, just to pacify us, and then close it saying it's not actually working. You were wrong, it's not going to work. So they've already said that. I mean, when Mike Burrows appeared on the front page of the Advertiser, sort of the saviour of maternity services, don't worry everybody, because I'll make sure there's a midwife-led unit for you, but we don't want it to be seen as a good alternative, because it's not, is it?
But we're totally in favour of midwife-led units. I mean, I was involved in a campaign in Buxton to keep that one open, but they're always being threatened with closure. You'll know that. They're an